April has snuck up on us again, and if you're not too busy playing Dragon's Dogma 2, there's even more games to fill your life with, from the AAA to the free-to-play and everything in between. Here's the top games launching in April. I'm Adamaru, hello there, and of course I have terrible dad jokes for you too. Let's do this! The game everyone's talking about this month arrives on April 26th, Stellar Blade. The PS5 exclusive mainly got attention due to the protagonist and her many costume changes, but we are assured there's a solid game underneath the jiggle physics. Story-wise, Stellar Blade is set after a war when humanity is driven away from Earth, and now, years later, it's time to claim back our homeworld. Set in third person, we play as Eve, a highly skilled warrior sent to push back the monstrous beings now inhabiting Earth. Through stylish combat, utilising combos and looking for holes in the enemy defence, and then hacking them into little pieces. Eve also builds up gauges by blocking and evading, and then unleashes hidden abilities. Those who have played Stellar Blade compare it to Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, with a little Nier Automata personality. If this is true, then Stellar Blade will be massive, and thankfully a demo is coming on March 29th to try before you buy, and all progression carries over into the full game. Stellar Blade is a PS5 exclusive, dropping on April 26th. Now, take a look at Sandland, an action RPG based on the legendary Akira Toriyama's manga series. We play as Beelzebub in a world where humans and demons live together. The only problem here is the lack of water, hence the name Sandland. Our trio of heroes and demons set out to find the legendary spring to rehydrate this world. From there, the desert and further afield is ours to explore. Combat takes a great deal of inspiration from the Dragon Ball RPG a few years back, with chained attacks in battle and the ability to fight both horizontally and vertically. On top of that, we have skill trees to unlock as we level up our crew to face the Royal Guards. Alongside exploration and combat is our home base, Spino City, and we must grow that city, inviting new NPCs to live close by. And here we have our own customizable space too. It's almost like Animal Crossing in here. Sandland looks to me like an RPG that could take over my life, and luckily a demo is available right now to see for yourself. The full game releases on April 26th on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Another month and another Xbox exclusive arrives on other consoles, and this one could be amazing. Sea of Thieves, the online-only pirate adventure game first released in 2018 and was completely lacking in content, but over the years developers Rare didn't give up and added new activities and a constant stream of content for 6 years, and now it's coming to PS5. We assume the role of captain of our own ship and sail the open waves, looking for loot and swashbuckling times. Sea of Thieves is also a cooperative game, allowing sailors to team up on bigger ships and go face to face with other real-life pirates. With heavy inspiration from movies like The Goonies and the Pirates of the Caribbean series, Sea of Thieves is looking to expand its community, coming to PlayStation 5 on April 30th, alongside an update to the PC and Xbox versions. Will you jump in, or is this one already sailed by? And wait, another former Xbox console exclusive is breaking free and coming to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation this month. This is Grounded. Playable in solo or up to 4 players, Grounded shrinks the player down to the size of an ant, and suddenly the back garden feels more like a jungle, with the tiniest of insects suddenly towering over our characters. Our job is to survive as long as possible, build a fort, learn which insects are threats, and craft new items from war and victories over those bugs. And all the while trying to uncover the story of how we became this small and who is responsible for it. This open world may only be a backyard, but it's honestly so clever how new biomes are created, such as a child's sandpit, that's the desert. A knocked over barbecue becomes the volcanic region. Grounded received many 9 out of 10 review scores for its blend of RPG and survival mechanics. And as of April 16th, it's available to players on PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch. Okie dokie, it's time to look at this month's free game offerings, starting with Deceit 2, a social deception game set in a horror environment. Essentially, Deceit 2 is if Among Us and Dead by Daylight had a video game baby. Between 6 and 9 players begin the game, and at random someone is selected to be the cursed bad guy and another is the infected. And everyone else plays as innocent humans trying to escape a ritual site. Just like Among Us, there are mini-games and tasks to complete, and the ability to vote off suspects. And just like Dead by Daylight, things are a little more action-orientated and just as brutal. Proximity chat is active, making coordination and shouting out what you see especially important. And the bad guys have their own separate VC to dip in and out of to coordinate attacks. I'm intrigued by Deceit 2 and will definitely be having a go. Cosmetics and the Battle Pass look to be the way the makers intend to monetize. Deceit 2 is out on PC right now and comes to PS5 and Xbox Series on April 3rd. Okay, right, the next free game is from the anime series, Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Seriously, that's its name, and I'd never heard of it until this moment. This is the Battle Chronicles game, which popped up on PlayStation 4 and 5 in mid-February. I totally missed it. An action RPG that lets players relive parts of the original anime, and new quest lines too. Gameplay is focused around brawling, with a constant gacha element hanging overhead. Combat evolves to include elemental types, wind, fire, earth, electricity and water, to add a little more thought to your battles. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Battle Chronicles is also available on PC and mobile. I also think someone should answer that question. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? I've got a few more free-to-play updates you should know about. Xdefiant, the first-person team shooter from Ubisoft, has a release date of March 2024. Well, the game's director has taken to Twitter to tell of issues finalising the game, and inevitable delays. He says the party system was not up to scratch, and serious netcode problems were found just before launch. He also states that an official update will be coming soon, hopefully before the end of March. In better news, the ill-fated platform fighter Mulitversus is coming back. With an updated engine and many quality updates, Mulitversus returns in May. So I shall tell you about that in next month's video. Let's go back to premium experiences, and in fact, another game PlayStation players have been forced to wait for. Dave the Diver, a retro pixel art action adventure game which was in many people's Game of the Year in 2023. We play as Dave and run a sushi restaurant by day, then as evening rolls in, we dive into the waters below to find the fish and other sea life we intend to sell. There's two distinct gameplay styles going on here. First, underwater while we search for sushi, we are armed with a harpoon gun, and over time other weapons and attachments, and must constantly keep an eye on our oxygen levels. While above water, we must manage the sushi shop, creating new recipes, training our staff, cooking, and getting passive-aggressive comments about our weight. As the story evolves, we'll meet a mermaid society, and you know what? I've said too much already. Don't be fooled by the pixel art style. Dave the Diver is not a shallow indie game. Coming to PS4 and PS5 in April, and as I'm writing this, there's no specific date confirmed, which could mean nothing, or it could mean Dave the Diver might be coming to one of the PS Plus tiers. I can't say for sure, it's just a hunch. April is packed with so many games, so let's do a speed round now. An extremely ugly indie game that is actually a masterpiece of gameplay releases this month. Braid Anniversary Edition lets us relive the time-bending hunt to save a damsel in distress, which has an ending I still think about to this day, 16 years later. Yikes. April 30th, if that floats your boat. Final Fantasy XVI's new DLC, The Rising Tide, drops on April 18th. It's the final and concluding part of the DLC storyline and introduces a new water-based Leviathan iconic ability set, as Clive and his companions must travel to Mysidia, a hidden land under a blue sky where they will uncover the tragic history of a forgotten people. On April 26th, Topspin returns. After 12 years of being in the shadows, the tennis sim is back. What dumbfounds me here is that the game was announced and released within a few weeks, which usually is a sign of distrust in the product, so maybe wait for reviews for that one. House Flipper 2 comes to console on April 10th, as we ignore our real-life homes to renovate and improve digital ones instead. Strangely addictive games, those. And finally, 2017's TMNT arcade classic has been dragged into the current year, and on April 16th, TMNT The Wrath of the Mutants hits and includes 4-player couch co-op. Okay, in return for getting through this video, I owe you a bunch of bad dad jokes. Sorry in advance. How do you get a farm girl to like you? Attract her. Attract her. Attract her. Genius, right? Genius. Why do seagulls fly over the ocean? Because if they flew over the bay, we'd call them bagels. Bagel. Oh, I like this one. I got on the weighing scales last night and realised I weighed less than 1,000th of a gram. I was like, OMG, 0 milligrams. Come on, that's really good. OMG. I once made a pencil with 2 erasers, 1 on each side. Yeah, it was totally pointless. Kinda like this section in the video. I'm Adam, you're awesome, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time. Bagel. OMG!